order. It's 9 o'clock. Today's Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. My name is Emily Lutz. I'm the Deputy Mayor here at the Municipality of Kings, and as regular practice, I generally do chair the Committee of the Whole meetings on the third Tuesday of the month. At this point in the meeting, we will take roll call. For those new to council this evening or joining us online, whenever a motion is called or the councilors are asked to register a vote, there is a 10-second delay from when the ask is made until it does appear up on the screen. So it looks like we are all present with the exception of Councillor Hurdle. Oh, yes, Mayor Matart, 1 second.
He'll be absent due to a health issue.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mayor Matart. If you didn't catch that, Councillor Hurdle is absent due to a health issue. So at this point, I'd look for a motion to excuse Councillor Hurdle. Moved by Councillor Burgess, seconded by Councillor Allen. I've been so good at that so far. That's my first mistake. Okay. Councillor Burgess, seconded by Councillor Allen, to excuse Councillor Hurdle. All in favor or otherwise, please signify in the usual fashion. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. So 9 of 10 are here with us this morning. So welcome, everybody. At this point, I'd ask for a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Moved by Councillor Burgess, seconded by Councillor Harding. Thank you. Any discussion on the agenda ahead of us this morning? It's regularly run-of-the-mill, I guess, agenda. Seeing none, all in favor or otherwise, please indicate in the usual fashion. And at this point, I'd just like to thank Councillor Armstrong for filling in for me last month at Committee of the Whole. As I've been filling in for the mayor, she's been filling in for me, and she's been a great resource. So really appreciate Councillor Armstrong, your always willingness to step up. Any disclosure of conflict of interest issues that anyone wishes to declare at this time? Any conflict of interest issues on any items on the approved agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to item 4, approval of minutes, January 23rd, 2024. Look for a motion to approve those minutes as presented. Moved by Councillor Granger, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Discussion on those minutes? Errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor or otherwise, please signify in the usual fashion. And while we wait for the vote, I'd ask you to consider any business arising you may have from those minutes. Oh, I didn't vote. I do vote in favor of those minutes. Those are approved. Any discussion arising from those minutes? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item 6, presentations. We have Jessica Clahane from Grant Thornton presenting this morning on the consolidated and non-consolidated financial statements. We'll turn it over to you, Ms. Clahane. Thank you for joining us this morning. You should be on and ready to go.
Perfect. Thanks, Emily. Just as a matter of clarification, I'm presenting on the consolidated financial statements. I believe Katrina will be addressing the non-consolidated following my presentation.
Thank you for that clarification.
No worries. So as Emily mentioned, I think I know most in the room, but I'm Jessica Clahane, a partner at Grant Thornton in Kentville, and the lead on your audit engagement. We did meet with your audit committee on February 9th, earlier this month, and went through these statements in a significant level of detail, as well as our report on the audit. So I'll try and keep things at a little bit of a higher level today, but if there's something that I don't touch on that you have questions on, then please just, we'll allow some time for question. So I am working what's up on the screen here, so just bear with me a second. Is that all on the screen? I think so. Okay, so we're going to start with your consolidated statement of operations, which is also known as an income statement if you were working under other standards. And actually, maybe just before I get into the presentation, probably another point I should clarify is the difference between the consolidated financial statements and the non-consolidated financial statements that we talked about just a moment ago. So your consolidated financial statements incorporate both the operations of the municipality of the County Kings as well as a proportionate share of a number of subsidiary organizations that feed up into these consolidated financial statements. There is disclosure on page 8 of the financial statements that includes which organizations would be included in the consolidated financial statements and the proportionate pickup. It's the Kings Transit Authority, the Valley Region Solid Waste Management, Valley Community Fiber Network Authority, Valley Regional Enterprise Network, and the Kings Regional Rehab Center. So you will see some of their results also reflected in these. When you get to your non-consolidated financial statements following the presentation, that will be just the operations of the County of Kings. So just like to make that clarification up front. So when we look at the consolidated statement of operations, you ended the year 2023, March 31st, with $87,098,000 in revenue versus your budgeted $82,207,000 and prior year of $81,098,000. So fairly comparable year over year. There was some significant pickup in the line other revenue from own sources, which was mostly due to the interest rate increases. So that would have been the interest that you're earning on a number of your investments in cash in the bank. As well, there was some increases in the Kings Rehab facility that would have increased that line as well. If we're looking at total operating expenditures for the year, you ended your year with $82,559,000 in operating expenditures versus the $78,339,000 that was budgeted and the $76,476,000 in the year before. And again, there's a pickup in the police services. Sorry, I'm trying to see and have this microphone close to me. In the police services, which would have come in, the protective services, which come in a little bit over budget there, as well in the government, general government services, which related to some general admin and various kind of other items. And I do point out as well the public health and welfare line. That is 100% the Kings Rehab facility pickup. So if we're looking at that budget of $31 million versus the $36 million in expenses, that would be coming from the rehab facility. So at the end of the year, you had a surplus of $4,539,000 versus the $4,622,000 in the year before. So a fairly healthy surplus at the end of the year. We add that to the accumulated surplus at the beginning of the year of $95,058,000, and we ended out the year with a surplus of $99,598,000 versus your $95,058,000 in the previous year. Should I stop at the end of each page or just at the end of the presentation, Emily?
You can stop now and look to any questions that council may have. I don't see any, so we can keep going.
Okay. So next I'm going to bring up the consolidated statement of financial position, otherwise known as a balance sheet. So you would have ended your year at the end of March 31st, 2023, with total financial assets. So those are those assets that you have available to you either in cash or readily convertible to cash at any time of $70,506,000 versus $54,458,000 the year before. There was a fairly significant pickup in the cash balance at the end of the year, so $58,859,000 versus the $47,970,000 in the previous year. As well, in your other receivables, you'll see an increase of approximately $4 million, and of that, about 2.3 is an increase in the Kings Rehab facility that's from the Department of Community Services. So that makes up a good chunk of that change in that receivable balance. We then look at your liabilities, so that would be anything that would be due to organizations, either short-term or long-term, because public sector standards does not separate kind of the difference between the current and the long-term liabilities. So you've got total liabilities of $44,080,000 versus $31,437,000 in the year before. And you will just see that there's some slight changes in your long-term debt, where we did take on $3.6 million in new debt during the year related to municipal building and sewer costs. before. We then look at your non-financial assets, so those would be the assets you have that are not readily convertible to cash, so things like your fixed assets and prepaid expenses inventory, those items. 73,171,000 versus 72,038,000 the year before. So that ends out and balances off that accumulated surplus we would have seen on the previous page of the 99,598,000. So you can see fairly consistent year over year, but certainly in a healthy position when we look at the net financial asset position of the municipality and related organizations. Any questions on the balance sheet? Nope. So the next statement is your statement of changes in your net financial assets, which again just kind of reconciles that number that we would have seen in the previous page of the 26,426,000 at the end of the year. So you take your annual surplus of your 4,539,000, and then we adjust for items such as the acquisition of tangible capital assets, the transfer of WIP to your capital assets, amortization, and then some small changes related to gain loss on sale. And we have a net change in the financial assets to near of 3,406,000. So moving on then to the statement of cash flow. So again, this would be a reconciliation as of a point in time of the cash that's in the bank. So we would have seen the number on the previous statement of financial position of the 58,859,000, which is down at the bottom of the page there. But really this kind of goes through, it says, okay, we have our surplus for the year of the 4,539,000. We look at the changes in what we would call operating activities. So those are your day-to-day operations